So hi guys, we are on our way to go try out the chairs. So we're gonna go try out the chairs, but first we're gonna go eat, and then we'll go to her infusion. Basically, I have an infusion today, so we have a little bit of time beforehand. We're gonna go try out Michaela's new wheelchair at a Walmart. We just got her chair a couple days ago, and this is the first time we've kind of had to go try it out. And I'll be in my chair too. So. Wheelchair buddies. You don't seem as thrilled.
Yay!
I'm just driving. I've used my chair quite a bit since I got it. I don't really vlog it because it's kind of difficult. I have a thing that goes on my chair, which I guess I might as well try out today. That I really haven't used because the couple times that I've used it, it's like the vlog that I did, like it's just not interesting. Because when I use my chair, I don't usually bring Arlo because the reason I have Arlo is for blood pressure, but if I'm sitting the whole time, then I don't really have those issues very often.
I think you have them for other things, but yeah.
Well, yes, but that's the main reason I have them is mobility and blood pressure.
Well, what happens when you have a psychiatric episode in your wheelchair?
And you're just psychiatric episodes very often anymore.
Okay. So you stopped having them and I started having more of them.
Well, I take a very strong medication now.
So yeah, that's kind of our plan for the day, and then we will go back to her house, get her stuff, and then she'll come to my house. Actually, I can just get in the car. You'll drive your own car.
Right, because I'm going to her place for a couple days to help with Sunshine again.
Like 3 days.
Right. So, and then we'll be filming.
This is a board and train the trainer.
Board and train.
Board the trainer, train
the dog.
the dog. So, okay. Yeah, we're gonna go try this out. Watch the other video if you're confused. Bye. Gonna do the wheelchair timeline.
We just went and tested out her chair
For like all of like 10 minutes, but
yeah, for like a little bit. We might go
again sometime this week. We're gonna do our wheelchair timeline right now. So basically, I originally had talked to my doctor maybe like a year prior, like, hey, can we do a wheelchair for the days that I really don't feel good? And he said no. And I had asked him a couple different times and he had said no. So Miss Fancy Pants over there, Brielle, helped me write a message to my doctors, and they actually agreed and were willing to support the recommendation that I would get a wheelchair.
If you guys remember around the time when we spray painted that first wheelchair, that's when I sent that message.
Right.
I literally sent it that day. So that day is when her doctor said,
oh,
but
it's safer for me to have a custom
she used a chair for a while that we got at a thrift store, and it was just kind of it was sort of a crappy chair, to be honest. It had like
do after you had your appointment, right?
So we had an appointment with the doctor, and basically they had the wheelchair company that they have, that they work with, and they came and they took measurements and things like that, and we did a vlog about that.
It was a really weird appointment, to be honest. It was not a normal wheelchair evaluation. They came in and actually like joined in on her other doctor's appointment, which was kind of strange. And
then I didn't really have time to talk to the doctor.
Right.
And I haven't seen him since then.
And they said basically like, oh, you know, everything will be fine, we'll get everything covered. And the things
made a bunch of promises they couldn't keep.
They seemed really optimistic, which was great. But the thing is at the same time, the appointment was really strange. They didn't have her do any walking evaluations. They didn't have her do like testing out any chairs. They didn't have her showing that she could wheel up and down, whatever. They didn't have her do anything like that, which I thought was really strange. At my appointment, they had me do all of that stuff. They had me try and get up a ramp. They had me show how I would get in and out of an elevator, all of this kind of stuff. They had me like lift a chair to see if I could like lift it and all that. The fact that they didn't do any of that at her appointment to me seemed really concerning. I guess like your appointment, the guy seemed really optimistic. He was new. He is a new person who works at the I don't know how to
wheelchair
say it.
company.
Like the place that we get the wheelchairs. So you know, there's like wheelchair distributor. So they work through the company. You know, they're not necessarily the people who make the wheelchairs, but they get them from the company and they like measure it out and make sure they like customize it and order it and everything. So you know, they're kind of a middleman. So the guy that I worked with, we have wheelchairs from the same distributor. The guy that I worked with told me that her guy, because I know his name, is new. When he dropped off my chair, he said, oh, he's new, you know, like he's still a kid and stuff like that. That doesn't necessarily mean he's like bad at his job or anything. I'm sure that he's just getting used to it. But things like not measuring the trunk of her car or that kind of stuff was a little strange. So the original appointment was really weird is basically what I'm trying to say. And then what happened after that original first appointment where you had the wheelchair people come?
So the wheelchair people came, and then they also came to my house and did some like final measurements. And basically they like came into the house and like saw how far the bathroom is away from my room, which is why you might have heard me in past videos talk about me crawling to my bathroom, because it was something with insurance that I'll get to in a minute. So basically we sent it out for the first time, and I kind of like didn't bother him about it. I let it sit for like a month and a half, and then I was kind of like, hey, what's happening? And they're like, oh, well, they denied it. So the first time around they denied it, and this is
Who denied it?
my insurance company denied it, which was Aetna, and I have a video, like an open letter to Aetna. We no longer have them. Not because I didn't get my wheelchair. It's because the company my dad worked for did it like a whole company switch to a different insurance. They were partnering with a different insurance. So basically the next 2 times that I tried to like get this chair appealed, I called the doctor's office basically every week. I think every receptionist there knew my name. I was calling insurance all the time.
It was a big deal.
It was a big deal.
She was calling for weeks. I remember her telling me like we would hang out and like we would be like going to do training or something, and every time say we got together for like 3 days a week, she would, like, we would get in the car and we'd be driving there and she would have to call them. Because it was like every single day. She would want to make the call to make sure, like, hey, are they getting this shit done?
Because otherwise they weren't.
Right.
The doctor's office was like, well, we didn't really feel like doing it, kind of thing. Which we'll get to that later. So basically it was denied every time because I can walk. Shocker. Ableist as fuck, but shocker. Basically, the previous insurance company doesn't believe in people that are ambulatory wheelchair users. You have to be able, specifically one of the lines that disqualified me says that if you are able to walk from your bedroom to your bathroom, then you don't qualify. Which in my house, my room is right next to the bathroom. But in college, it's a different scenario because it was across the hallway. And especially like if that bathroom's not working, like let's say they're closed for maintenance, you have to go to a different floor. So that was frustrating. My doctors had to make like additional documentation because either the insurance company wasn't taking it or later the state didn't take it. So yeah, I had 3 total denial letters from Aetna. So at the beginning of the year, we switched to the new insurance, and it was kind of like, it was around the point where I was starting to feel like depressed and I was going to give up because it just seemed like a lot of work. But we kept going. Basically from January.
When did I get my chair? I got my
November.
chair. Okay, November. So I got mine in November, and you did an update video at that point.
Yeah.
Like the day that I got it, I did my video, and you did an update video on the same day, I think.
Yeah, we have an update video somewhere. So then in January, basically from January to maybe like April, we had a really hard time finding where to turn. Okay, so wait. So in January, I started pursuing, let me back up. In January, I started pursuing finding someone to help fund my wheelchair, because if the insurance wasn't going to pay for it, I really can't pay for that much out of pocket. So,
because in the end, how much was your chair? Something like
$2,600?
Yeah, like
$2,700?
Yeah, like 2,000 something.
I participated in a program called the Department of Vocational Rehabilitation, which is basically getting disabled people to work. Again, and basically, honestly, the only reason I use them right now was originally just for tutoring for school. Because they really, the other things that they offered, they didn't actually follow through on, which is so they basically denied that. They denied helping because they didn't, even though they saw that it was employment related, like, and for college, they felt like they didn't want to spend the money, which it was very professionally written in a letter that they just didn't want to spend the money. So after thinking about it for a little bit, I contacted like a program that oversees DVR, which is like it's called DATCAP, Department of Agriculture and Trade and Client Protection, something like that. So I contacted them because they oversee DVR when DVR starts getting in trouble, and oh my god, did they get in trouble. So basically, the reason DVR denied helping me with funding was because they assumed that my school would pay for it. Like, the university would pay for me to get a wheelchair, and I don't know, is that something that exists?
I don't necessarily know if they assumed that they were going to pay for it.
That's what they told DATCAP though. That's what they told DATCAP.
I think they assumed that other accommodations would be made by the university. I think they assumed that they would give you that, like, transportation service to your classes, from your dorm to your classes.
They weren't going to do that.
Right. I know that they wouldn't do that. I'm not saying that they would. I'm saying DVR assumed that this is what would happen.
Right.
Is that you would get that transportation service to your classes from your dorm, and that maybe they would like put you right near the bathroom or something. Like you know, they would make other accommodations.
Yeah, but the school wasn't willing to do that. That, and then Dad Cap had realized that them even like thinking that, like saying the school was going to provide something was against 504, which is a whole law in itself. Because basically, all I know is that they got in trouble and 504 was brought up, and then the Dad Cap people were like, "Oh, don't worry, DVR's in trouble now, so they'll probably do it." So they did something with 504. I'll have to look it up and let you guys know. Because basically they assumed that the school could potentially fix my issues by allotting different accommodations than I already have, but I have every accommodation for that area, so I guess it was kind of frustrating. So hey guys, so once DVR got in trouble, they were like, fine, we're gonna pay for this. Then we tried the process probably from February to April of trying to get a hold of the insurance. And the insurance, every time we called and submitted stuff, they would say, oh, it's a different number. Oh, it's a different number. So every time...
You're submitting it to the wrong place. You're submitting it to the wrong place.
Every time. They would never give us the right number. So the state was kind of like, well, we don't want to contact the dealer because we don't want them to, like, be upset if we don't go with them, which apparently was something they were thinking about, but I guess it's part of how they do things is that they have to find the cheapest chair, which they didn't in the end. I think they just gave up on that.
Well, because that's not what ended up happening.
But so right, because if it would have been out of pocket, they would have done that, like the whole thing, yeah.
Right.
So the dealer got a hold of insurance and submitted all the paperwork within an hour, and it got approved within an hour, and it was covered at 80% within an hour. So
with her new insurance.
With my new insurance. And the fact that I'd been calling the new insurance every day for probably about 2 or 3 months straight, and they did it within an hour, it blew my mind. It was mentally insane. So they approved it. And so basically, once we got the dealer and the state talking to each other, the state helped me out with so basically, insurance covered 80% of the chair, and we were left responsible for 20%, which was $500. Now, honestly, if it had come to it, if I had known insurance was going to cover 80% of it, I would have covered the 20%. Like, I would have made it work, you know. I just couldn't pay almost $3,000 out of pocket. That's not how I can't do that. So, like, I could have made the $500 work, but, like, I'm really glad I didn't have to. It was really helpful that I didn't have to. So, basically, the state paid their part, and we ordered the chair. I did have to go back in for remeasurements because I gained a little bit of weight, and I'm not going to talk about that right now. It's kind of a triggering topic. But we ordered the chair, and then we picked it up the other day. So that is the very long story of me getting my chair. And then the state was actually kind of frustrated in the end. I had talked to them a couple weeks ago, and they said, well, see, your doctor's office was supposed to take care of all of this in the first place. They were supposed to find the right number to call and check in and call and things like that. And even the doctor's office was like, yeah, I guess we could have done that. So basically, I wasted a lot of my lifetime calling people. So I'm glad that I no longer have to do that. And I have a chair, which is back there. It's currently taken apart, but it's there. So yeah, that is the timeline.
And then we went to the appointment to pick up the chair. And so she picked hers up. My guy was able to drive out to me, which was nice. But
my guy had like 0 time, so it was either pick it up or get it in like 4 months.
Yeah. So we went to go pick it up, and we went there, and the guy, it was kind of the smaller office. The guy, I don't know, I guess.
Like when we got there, he was like unwrapping the chair when I got in there.
Yeah, so he was like opening it. And then
like I sat in it and he made a couple of adjustments just for my like comfort level, I guess.
Right, so she has kind of an interesting back on her chair. The back on her chair, like, I don't know if it. Oh, look at the horsey.
He put a wedge back there for lumbar support, so he just put like a foam wedge in there.
And then there's other things like the back has like different ways that you can move it around on the outside.
Right.
So my cushion has those alterations on the inside, so if I open it, I can do that. But then basically it allows me to take the back cushion off. But her back cushion doesn't come off because it's got the screws and everything on the back to make those alterations on the outside so that she can more easily alter hers. So, I mean, that's kind of the trade-off, is like you can very easily change things if you need to, but you can't take the back off. I can take the back off, but if I need to change something, it's kind of more of a process. So, it's a trade-off with everything.
And then we tried to put my wheelchair in the car.
So he showed her how to disassemble everything.
Yep.
And then he folded it up and tried to get it in the trunk, which, I mean, I know you have some like extra shit in there, but definitely not enough. It was all basically flat, you know.
And the chair still didn't fit.
Right.
So we had to make some alterations.
So
Black market alterations.
yeah,
The dealership made the alterations, so it's not like
what
we
did he say? He said he had one other idea. He was gonna put in these other handles, but they didn't fit. They didn't fit on the back thing. They had to fit onto this bar, and the bar was too big
in diameter.
And so they wouldn't fit. And then, so basically our only other option
Was to hack them off.
was to hack the back off, hack the handles. Otherwise, what we could have done is we could have like basically made it so that she can't really take her service dog anywhere, because the wheelchair would be sitting in the back like it is in my car right now. It would be sitting back there, and then, you know, there's nowhere for
Sunshine to be.
Sunshine to go, or Arlo to go if we end up going together.
They might get really pissed off.
Low-key, just don't get a wheelchair without a dealer, like a guy, like a representative that is gonna like measure everything. Because my guy measured shit, and we knew how big my trunk was, and everything was gonna fit in my trunk.
I don't think she knows.
So I mean, obviously I was in a rush when we put our chairs away after testing hers out. But basically this is how I have mine set up. I've got my wheels over here. I have a bunch of extra space in the back. And on this side, all of my like accessories fit over in like literally just this corner. Like literally my gloves, my wheelchair leash bag, my wheelchair bag, my smooth and stuff. All of that fits over here. I got my cane up here. I've got extra space. So, you know, like when he measured mine, it everything fits. So, you know, now try not to show you my license plate. I'm gonna
You just show them your license plate.
I'm gonna try not to show them my license plate. So now she's gonna try and get hers in her car.
Don't show my license.
Well, you have your trunk open. So your trunk looks just a little bit like shorter this way than mine, but definitely not that much.
yeah. There you go. Maybe that'll give it some extra cushion. Yeah, it doesn't close.
Huh?
Doesn't close.
Okay, so,
Hi, Mom.
hi. So, we're leaving now, and we didn't plan on any meals because we didn't think you were gonna be here.
No, we're leaving. You want to come see? Come look at this.
The fact that they got me
Okay, so she gave up. She put the wheel in the back.